Hello everyone, welcome to Rock Talk Happy Hour. My name is Mario, here with Kimberly and Britt. This is a podcast about craft beer and music where every episode we try different craft beers, we rate them, discuss them, and sometimes we learn a little bit about them, all while talking music-related topics. Britt, what's today's music-related topic?
Today we're going to be talking about singing drummers.
Yes, singing drummers. So this episode is going to be titled Bands with Singing Drummers, and there's a specific reason why it's called that. So I guess I can get into it like right off the bat, and then we can get into our normal segments for those of you guys who are regulars to the show. But if you're new, then we'll walk you through it. So I guess as everyone knows by now, Taylor Hawkins, the drummer for Foo Fighters, passed away last Friday. So we usually do our episodes Friday night. Some stuff happened and we weren't able to record our episode. So just talking about a little bit about what happened that day. So if you've been listening to the show, you've probably realized that for the past couple of episodes, we've been talking about Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl specifically, like quite a bit. I read the book. They had a movie come out. I was talking about they were coming out with a metal album. So this is what happened Friday. So Friday, I was like, okay, we're going to do the show tonight, whatever. And I just wanted to get through the work day. And now, like, I know Kim's busy. We both work from home. And since Kim's busy, I'll put on a podcast, right? So I found these guys that do, they're from Britain. They're from the UK. And they used to, I don't know if they still do. They used to write like reviews and stuff and articles for like, music publications or magazines like over there, and they would do like reviews, interview bands, like some of our favorite bands. They've interviewed them.
Okay.
They would go to like big shows over there and do that. So they have a podcast, and they have like 3 different sections of their what they do. So like they'll do one where they'll review albums, and that's like hours of them doing that, and then they'll review like classic albums, and then there's their regular show. So they basically have like 3 shows in one,
okay.
right? So anyways, going back to that. So I found them, and I found them really interesting. And that day, around 11 o'clock in the morning, 12 noon, I found that they had done an episode on the first Foo Fighters album, right? So I was like, I'm going to listen to this because I don't know like the complete history. I did learn a lot from the book that I read that Dave Grohl had. So I listened to that podcast. It was 3 hours long, right? And it was fine. I was listening to it. I was learning stuff, whatever. So, so I listened to that. This was last Friday. So then later on that, afternoon, I was finishing up the notes I had for the episode, right? That we had. So the topic wasn't supposed to be this. It was supposed to be something else. So also Friday, Foo Fighters released the metal album that they had been working on that was basically going under the persona of the band that was in the film, Studio 666.
Oh, okay.
So they released it as that band, but it was still credited with Foo Fighters, right?
Yeah.
So I actually listened to the album because it came out that Friday, and I reviewed it. And I was like, cool, I get to talk about this on the show, right? So that my day was pretty much all Foo Fighters, right?
Yeah.
So then we're hanging out here, and I think you had already told us that you weren't going to be able to do the show. I was like, all right, cool, right?
Yeah, it was late at night.
Yeah, it was late at night, yeah. And so Kim tells me the news, and it didn't register like right away. Like I heard what she said, but I was like, I thought she asked me if I posted something about him. That's what I registered.
Oh.
And I was about to tell her like I didn't post anything. And then I think I said what, and she told me again. And then I Googled it, and I was like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Right? I was like, it fucking, of course, when this
way
happens,
too young.
it's always
Yeah.
like, it's always like, everyone's always like, it gets you out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, instead of posting anything online, I was just like, all of a sudden my feed was like bands who were close to the Foo Fighters and to him, or who had worked with him.
Yeah.
You know, it was just nothing but tributes and stuff saying words about him, right? So I was like, instead of posting anything, I was just reading the stuff, right? Because I was like, oh, this is, you know. So I was reading it, and so that pretty much that's what happened. And then that whole Friday, that Friday night, the rest of the night, that's what I did. Saturday, after we got the puppy, I was doing the same thing. You know, we got a puppy, and I was reading the things. And then I found this post that I found it on Facebook. It was a post by Guitar Center, and it was basically talking about a time when Taylor Hawkins had visited for a drum clinic, I think, or something like that. Well, here's just a little piece of what they posted. If you want, you can go to their Facebook page or whatnot. But basically, it said, after coming out to support Drum Off, that's the name of their event, as a judge a number of times, we had the great pleasure of having Taylor play at the grand final celebration in 2016. He said, I can't play like those kids, right? To hear such modesty coming from one of the biggest drummers in the world told you everything you needed to know about him. Then he says, can I do a whole set of covers from bands with singing drummers? We did almost grant him that wish, and you can catch a glimpse from the show and then they have a link of him playing there at Guitar Center. But basically he was asking if he could do like just a set of covers from bands with singing drummers. And I was like, I'm going to do an episode. We're going to do an episode of bands with singing drummers. And I wanted, as a fan of the Foo Fighters and of his, to do the episode dedicated to him. Yeah. And I was like, there's a lot of, like big musicians who obviously who have played shows since last Friday, and they've dedicated their whole shows to him. Sure. I think Liam Gallagher, Noel Gallagher, who's the singer? I forget. One of those guys, right? So he had a gig, and I didn't know that Foo Fighters and
Oasis.
Oasis were like very tight.
Oh, I
didn't know that.
Either. Huh.
And so they played a show, I think that Friday night, or Liam Gallagher, I think that's the singer. Okay. I get confused. So he played a show, right? I think it was like solo stuff or something, and he almost canceled, but it was for a benefit, so he ended up playing it, and he dedicated that show to him. So I was like, all right, we're gonna do this, right? So that was my day, and I was like, all right, so we're gonna do this. So today's episode, like I said, as fans, I want to dedicate it to Taylor Hawkins, talk about bands with singing drummers, and with that out the way, if y'all don't have anything y'all want to say about that, until we talk about this later, because I'm going to talk about them, we can get into our regular segments if y'all want.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
All right. First segment, of course, we start with what are we drinking? Because
as we all sit here with empty glasses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Britt's drinking something.
She has some.
Kim and I had some of it beer. We had a Shiner Light Blonde. So yeah, that's okay. We'll skip that segment. Next segment is, what is it? Hangover, right? Oh, yeah, we got to talk about Hangover. Okay, so if you guys heard last episode, or if you guys are binging the episodes in order like I do, something happened last episode, and Kim and I had discovered a band in a parking lot. We saw their tour bus, and through that whole episode, Kim's all like, hey, maybe we can catch them, and I keep saying, hey, maybe I can stop the show, and, let's go. So at the very end of the episode, we decide, yeah, you know what? I think we have time to go catch them. So when we stopped recording, we decided, let's go fucking watch these guys, right? Yeah. So they were a band from New Orleans called Bag of Donuts. And like I said, you can hear that episode and see what was up with that. So basically, who wants to tell the story? What happened? Kim. Yeah, we'll let Kim do it.
Why? No, it was funny because the whole time we were trying to figure out where they were, what they were doing here, what they were like, what was going on, if they were passing through, if they were playing a show. And I found out that they were playing at a venue called Bluebonnet Palace, which is not too far from here. It's about 20 minutes maybe, but if you drive like me, a little bit closer. And so I was like, it was like a cover. It was like $5 till 11. And then after that it was 10. And we're like, we need to make the $5 because we don't know if this is going to be a bust or not. Like, I know we sound like cheap asses, but it was like,
well, yeah. Well, we had a story about why we do that now, but try to get the deals.
Oh yeah. We did say that last time.
We did say it, right?
Yeah. We like, did we tell her? Or did we say it? Oh no, we did.
No, we did.
We stood in the parking lot and we listened to another cover outside.
Yeah, we didn't pay to go in. Yeah, you're right. We didn't name the band, but we named the cover band.
So
tribute band.
So I was like, we can make it. Like it was like 10:20. I was like, we can make it by 11. So like we start scrambling. We're like, I have candles, so we're like, everybody's like blowing out candles and putting stuff away and like going bathroom and getting all together.
Yeah, I was putting all the cheese back in the fridge because we had cheese out
snacks and stuff. Yeah. And so then we
were scrambling.
Yeah.
We got to the venue and we don't know how to get in there because we've never been there before. I've only been there once and I couldn't remember. It'd been years, and so we're like trying to find the entrance.
Never been there before.
So we find the entrance and like the security guard is really nice. and he checks our IDs, lets us in, whatever. We pay the girl to cover. And it's a country bar, so we're like super out of place. Everybody there is in like cowboy hats,
and I'm
boots.
wearing my Slipknot shirt and my hoodie.
Yeah.
And so we like we have to walk through the dance hall to get to the outside stage because they're playing outside. And so we're like making our way through the dance hall. People are two-stepping, having a good time, whatever. And so we get out there and they're on stage already. And it's these guys that are dressed in costume. I think we explained like their whole costume thing before. They're in costume and they're playing and they're fucking awesome.
They're pretty
like
good,
they were so tight. They were so good. Like they're
like real performers.
Yeah,
like,
they were
really
awesome.
into it.
So
I think I don't remember what the exact year was, but I think they've been around since '88.
Yeah.
And they basically dress like some of the rock icons, but in kind of like a Mardi Gras kind of theme.
Yeah.
So like one of them is dressed as like Gene Simmons, but if Gene Simmons was like
at Mardi Gras.
Yeah. It's very
One
it's
of them
very
was like
interesting.
David Bowie inspired.
Yeah, the other one is like David Bowie.
was
Yeah,
like-
David Bowie inspired. Yeah.
I don't remember the other
David Lee
ones.
Roth,
Yeah, I
maybe?
think
Yeah,
so.
probably.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, definitely a hair metal
Yeah,
vocalist.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And so we're like, oh my god, this is awesome. So we're like,
Oh, and they play covers. By the way.
covers,
Yeah.
covers.
A wide variety.
Yeah,
a
they
wide
do, yeah,
variety
yeah.
with their own spin on it, which is what I like. It's not like they're trying to like cover the song; it's like their own like take on it
So
because
the
they fuse the New Orleans.
Style. Yeah.
Style.
So when I was doing the research on them, I did find out that they incorporate like some of the big band New Orleans style. They take
Because they have like a trumpet guy, a sax guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they
like-
kind of mix that into the
rock.
Into the rock. Yeah.
And so, I don't know. There was a bunch of stuff that was happening that night. It was like a cool night. We're outside.
Yeah.
It was, they were doing awesome.
And then Kim got hit in the head with cups.
No.
So we got,
Well, before that, I was like, so my dad and I are drummers, and like we were all the way in the back, and the drummer of this band, like he had the same like mannerisms playing, and I was like, is that my dad? Like, does he have this
Does he have a
side
secret
hustle, secret life?
because
Like,
conveniently he was out of town that weekend.
conveniently he was out of town that weekend, and I was like, the hell. So of course I'm like, I gotta go, like I gotta get closer, like let me see. So Mario and Britt were sitting in the back at a table, and I go and get closer, and I'm like taking videos, taking pictures. Not my dad, but it was weird. And then all of a sudden, like I'm gonna turn to walk away, and it just starts raining plastic cups. And I was like, what the hell is that? So I picked up a couple, and then there was an older man next to me, and he was trying to get one, but he couldn't. And I got a couple and I gave them to him. And then I was like, all right, like I got 2 cups. Cool. I turned to walk away, and I get pelted with another handful of cups, and they're throwing these Mardi Gras or Fiesta, if you're here in San Antonio, like those plastic cups that you get at Nyosa or whatever. They have bag of donuts on them, from New Orleans, and they have like sugar skulls of their costumes or whatever on there. And so I pick up another one because I was like, I just need 3, and I'm like handing other cups to other people, and I run to the back and I'm like, I got cups.
Yeah, we were very excited. When I saw the cups flying, I was like, oh, I hope Kim gets some cups.
Yeah.
I wanted to get more, but I didn't want to be like stingy, like, oh, I'm taking all the cups.
And it was funny because that episode, Britt's all like, oh, and then you can meet them and then we'll interview them. Like, it was just like joking because we didn't know we were going to go see them. And then, Kim talked to a couple of them.
When they got done, they're like, oh, we'll be over there in the back, like meeting people or whatever. And I was like, Maria, like, I'm going to go and see if I can just talk to them. So I talked to the drummer and the lead singer, and I kind of told them our crazy story of, we saw you on the parking lot of Living Spaces, and we needed to find out like what y'all were about, why y'all were here. And they were like, oh my God, that's awesome. That's crazy. Thank y'all for coming or whatever. And kind of plugged the podcast a little bit, like shamelessly, like gave them a business card. You never know. Maybe we can have them.
I emailed one of the guys. I haven't heard anything, but I know it like emailing
They tour
these people.
and
And these people get busy, so I haven't heard anything back. But if he gets back, maybe we will interview him, see what's up. I'm just curious to see how how that whole New Orleans thing and that music style, like how they came across to because I've never seen anything like that before. But then again, I'm not from New Orleans, so
yeah,
I don't know if there's other stuff like that. does anyone else have any other hangover stuff? So, I didn't even mention that hangover is just stuff we needed to bring up from past episodes.
Last
that we didn't
episode
get to.
was the Saint.
St. Patrick's. Yeah, I don't
Oh
think.
yeah.
Oh, the drinking songs. That's right. I don't have any
songs.
hangover.
No,
Nah,
me
me
neither.
neither.
All right. So then I guess our last segment is news and brews and news. So my first piece of news. So this is kind of interesting. Last, I believe this was Tuesday. It was Monday. So last Monday, I think that was March 21st. I'm on Instagram, and of course, I totally didn't snap that concert. Like the concert season's coming up. Summer concert season's coming up, right? So whatever. I'm scrolling around. Kim and I bought tickets to Third Eye Blind a couple of months ago, and then I see a post from Rob Zombie saying that he has a tour coming through this summer called Freaks on Parade, and I was like tripping out when I saw the lineup. The lineup is Rob Zombie, co-headlining is Mudvayne, Static X, and Power Man 5000. And I was like, this is like a fucking like dream late 90s, early 2000s lineup. Like I've seen Rob Zombie once on Ozfest. I've seen Mudvayne a few times, but I didn't see them in the era where they had face paint. So I missed them. And currently, I think last year we talked about it, where last year was the anniversary of that album that had came out. Yeah. So they did a couple of one-off shows at festivals in the face paint. And so when I saw them, they weren't doing the face paint anymore. So I missed that era by like an album, right? And I was always kind of bummed. I was like, man, I'm never gonna see them. So on this tour, they're gonna be wearing the face paint and all that stuff. And I'm like, shit, sweet. Static X, I've seen Static X before, but this is the lineup with the singer from Dope, I believe. Of course, Wayne Static passed away some years ago. And I'm not very interested. That's the only thing that bums me out is that it's not Wayne Static. And then Power Man 5000, I've never seen them before. So, the tickets went on sale that Friday, but I actually found a pre-sale code, for that Wednesday, which was 2 days later after it was announced. And I ended up getting tickets for Kim and I, and we have the exact same seats that we have for Third Eye Blind. Because it's going to be at the same venue.
Oh my
in
gosh,
Austin.
how funny.
Yeah. And I did it on purpose, actually, because I was like, I don't know where to get seats at. And the seats that we picked for Third Eye Blind, we were kind of being strategic with it. And then I ended up finding the same seats for this tour.
There you go.
That was one piece of news. The other piece of news I touched upon briefly last Friday. Foo Fighters released a metal album, and for those who don't know, like Dave Grohl's like a big like punk, like hardcore punk metal fan. Like he grew up with that shit, classic rock. So it wasn't really a surprise to me that they were going to be releasing a metal album, to kind of go tie it together with the movie. Mm-hmm. I listened to it. And I had notes on it, and I was going to talk about it, but I don't want to do that after all. I'm just going to say, like, go check it out. Like, it's pretty crazy. The only thing I will say is that it incorporates, like, the different genres of metal. Like, it incorporates a little bit of thrash and doom metal. And basically, if you listen to, like, our 80s and 90s episode where we talked about where the genres branched out into different genres, like, over the years, you could hear like the different types of metal that they incorporated in these songs. And it sounds really nice. What I liked about it is that it sounds, what's the word? Authentic. Like it doesn't sound like they were trying to do it like just to release something for the movie. Like it sounded nice. Like the sound was very, yeah, like I said, it was, what's the word I just used again? Authentic, yeah. Mm-hmm. It sounded very authentic. It drags on a little bit, but I think it's 47 minutes long, and then the last two songs by themselves are 20 minutes. So I don't know if you guys, well, obviously, you guys remember the movie.
Oh, yeah, it's like going on.
Where they're writing that song, and Dave Grohl's like, like this song, like it doesn't have to have an ending, and they just keep going.
Because they can't
finish it. Yeah. Well, that song is on the album, but it's the 10-minute version.
Okay.
So it's basically a long 10-minute metal song. And it has changes in it. There's a little like a acoustic part in it too. Like there's, some of that old school metal has like those breaks with acoustic and stuff. But it's good. I like it. I don't want to give my rating on it, but I say just go check it out. It's called Dream Widow. That's the name that was of the metal band in the movie, and that's the name they went under when they released it. I was going to say something else about it. I forgot what I was going to say, but whatever. That's that. Last piece of news I have. This is pretty cool. So I'm scrolling through my feed today, and I thought this was an April Fool's thing, but it turns out it is not. I think we tried it on the show. If not, I know I gave one to Britt. Pantera had a beer. It was called what the fuck was it called? Pantera, like Golden Ale?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was by the Texas Ale Project. So Kim and I actually went to the brewery, before it was released here, in San Antonio, and we went all the way over there, to the Fort Worth, Dallas area, and we had some of that beer, and then we brought it back. So I found out that they're releasing another beer called Vulgar Display of Lager. And I was like, that's fucking awesome, right? So it's a German-style lager. They announced it today, I believe, and it begins shipping April 5th. So when is that?
It's a few days from now.
It's in a few days from now, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a collaboration between... Tuesday, okay. So there's a company called Knuckle Bones, and Knuckle Bones makes like statues of like rock artists and stuff, and like action figures and stuff like that are collectibles. And so that's what they do. So they teamed up with a brewery called Great South Bay Brewing from New York, and so they're doing this collaboration together to make the beer as a collectible drinking item. And I got us a pack. So
sweet.
So I got us, and actually, I don't know.
You can do that? Because I know there's all these like
this
weird
website. I actually worked. It actually worked. So here's what the beer can looks like, Britt. If you want to see it, if you want to come around this way or not. But limited edition beverage series from Knuckle Bones, and he's running He's over here. He's running around. Yeah, so
like the album cover.
Yeah, it's like the album cover, but instead of Vulgar Display of Power, it says Vulgar Display of Lager. Oh, cool. So we're gonna try that Pantera beer as soon as we get it. It starts to ship on the 5th, so I got us a case, not a case, I should say a 4-pack. But yeah, I was like super like tripped out. I was like,
a case would be cooler.
I guess would have been cooler. Shit, you should have seen the shipping on the cases. I was like, the hell with that. So it's gonna be, like I said earlier, a German style. It's gonna be 5.9% ABV. So I'm looking forward to trying and rating that. So that was pretty interesting. That is all the brews and news and brews that I have. If y'all want, we can try. Kim and I went out of town 3 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah, I think it's almost been a month, and we got a wine for us to try on the show. And I'm gonna go ahead and let Kim bring it out, and then we'll have that. While she does that, I wanted to say something about that Dream Widow album. It was about, I don't know if it was about Dave Grohl, but I listened to it and I rated it and I made notes, and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be my second album that I rate on the show, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do it after all. So
okay,
yeah, but it's
fair.
Good. Yeah, listen to it.
So we're trying wine.
Yeah, we're trying to wine.
Okay.
So not a few episodes, I should say. This has probably been like maybe 20 episodes back or something. We had a beer from Shiner, that it was one of their Brewer's Pride editions, and they did a collaboration with Becker Vineyards, and Becker Vineyards is not that far from here. We ended up stopping at some little shop where we went out of town, and they actually had that wine there from Becker Vineyards because it was in that area. So I was like, oh, we should get some of that wine and bring it back and have it on the show. So we brought some of that wine, and I don't even remember. I think it's a rosé. Is it a rosé? Yeah, I think it's a rosé. We'll try it out and see what's up. But
okay, cool.
I'll
we don't do wines very often, except when they're chocolate flavored.
Oh yeah, that one was pretty good.
That was real good.
Yeah. Let's see. No, you're good. I can edit this if I have to. I probably will edit it. Okay, so let me see. So this is from Becker Vineyards, from Lukenbach, Texas. Let me see. It's called Texas Basics.
Well, we bought it at the Lukenbach store.
Oh, that's right.
But it's not from
in
Lukenbach.
Fredericksburg, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying that this is from there. Yeah,
From the combined.
it's called Texas Basics of Love. It is it's from Becker Vineyards. Alcohol
Oh,
percentage
yeah, Becker Vineyards is in Fredericksburg.
Oh, okay.
14.9% ABV, and yeah, it's a rosé. So yeah, I'll let Kim do the honors, and we can try that wine. I'm not a wine connoisseur, but
Nor I.
And it's actually 2 hours away from Shiner.
oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, that's obvious then that why they did the collaboration together. But I remember the collab that they did was pretty good. I don't remember what kind of wine they had.
Glass, Maya?
I don't, but I'll taste from your glass.
It smells pretty. It's a sweet little bottle.
Yeah, it's a nice little bottle. Give it a smell. Yeah, it does smell good.
Rosé Basics of Love. Tastes like a Zinfandel, which is weird,
Swish it around.
Yeah, I agree.
right?
Mhm.
It tastes.
I don't know what that is, but
It's another type of wine.
So it tastes really boozy.
yeah, it does. I was gonna say, is it supposed to have more flavor? Because I'm not really. I mean,
No, I bet you. I mean, wine doesn't. I'm
No,
sure.
No, it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
like
no,
that.
it doesn't,
No,
yeah.
nothing
It's not
like
like-
that.
It's
I mean,
good because
yeah.
I don't usually drink much like blush or rosé or white wine. Kind of stick to reds mostly, and so because usually these are a little bit more on the dry side. I think.
Yes, yeah.
So, but this is actually good.
But it's good.
Yeah,
It's
it
just real boozy.
Sounds like you know
tasting.
more about wine than I do.
I not really. I usually pick based on the label.
Okay.
Yeah, if
Like
it's
how
got a
cool it looks?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
okay.
like
That sounds like
a
what I would
tree
do,
or
yeah.
a raven or a
Or a
vampire
skull
or
or something.
yeah.
Or Snoop Dogg.
Tombstone, or Snoop.
Or Martha Stewart.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
has,
she has
a
one,
lot
yeah.
of them now.
Yeah. That's actually from his
Oh, really?
from his winery. Then,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know. I think I'd give it like a 2.5. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't think I guess it's because I don't drink it. I haven't drank enough wine,
Definitely.
to know the difference between. Because I can't remember the last time I had a rosé.
Probably never.
No, I mean, I'm sure I've had one, but like I don't remember the last time. Because I know when I'm with you, we don't have rosés.
Yeah, I have red.
I prefer them to be sparkling myself. Like I like
Okay.
bubbly rosés
Yeah.
and bubbly.
Okay, I'll go with
Wines.
2.5. Well, y'all give
I
me.
give it a 4.
Okay.
I like it. It's good.
I'll go
Like I
3
s-
just to split the difference.
Okay.
Not that that's exactly in the middle.
Like I said, not usually my typical wine that I reach for, but I'd drink a full glass.
Yeah.
Huh, that's weird. Okay, you were going down a little bit. Okay, so I guess with that out the way, we have a few beers that we'll try out throughout the episode. I guess I can start the topic off. Yeah.
Sure.
So, I guess to kick it off, of course, like I said, we're doing bands with singing drummers. The first band that I'm going to talk about, it's an obvious one, had 2 singing drummers.
Oh. No.
Foo Fighters.
I was like, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, who? Yeah, Foo Fighters. So, Foo Fighters, this is kind of, crazy because, these guys had similar music interests. Taylor Hawkins and Dave Grohl, both the singing drummers that I'm talking about in the band. I guess I'll get to this part later. So, I'll talk about Taylor Hawkins first, and then I'll talk about Dave Grohl, and then I'll talk about the Foo Fighters as a whole. So, I didn't know this, but Taylor Hawkins was actually born in Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, I didn't know that
He was
either.
born a Texan, yeah. He was
Oh.
born February 17th,
Okay.
1972, so February, baby. Yeah. But he grew up in Laguna Beach, California after his family moved there in 1976. So he was like 4
Okay.
years old when they
Yeah.
moved. So he grew up a Californian, but he was born a
Okay.
Texan. So I did not know that. It's
No, me
pretty
neither.
cool. He played with a couple of bands in the 90s before playing drums for Alanis Morissette on her tour supporting Jagged Little Pill from June 1995 to March 1997. So he didn't record the drums on that album, but he did tour with her for that album.
I see.
The interesting thing that I didn't know is that he appeared in the music videos for You Oughta Know, All I Really Want, and You Learn. So I guess they didn't have the drummer at that time when they were doing the music videos. So he's the drummer on the music videos. And I was like, huh. You an Alanis Morissette fan, Britt?
Back in the day, yeah, I was. I mean, I never saw him in concert or anything, but I had that album, Jagged Little Pill.
Cool.
Like everybody else back then.
Yeah. No, that's... Yeah, good. I think, man, I don't know if she was on tour last year or what.
Oh, yeah, it was recent. Right?
And I think it was an anniversary for this, if I'm correct. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
So Taylor Hawkins is also on the Jagged Little Pill live VHS DVD from 1997. So there's actually a live DVD VHS that came out for the concert, and he's on there. I haven't seen any footage from that. I was gonna pull it up on YouTube, but I never did. Hawkins joined the Foo Fighters officially on March 18th, 1997, after their second album, The Color and the Shape, was recorded. So, Foo Fighters, and I'll talk more about this when I talk about Dave Grohl, but so for the first album, they didn't really have a drummer. Well, actually, there wasn't even a band. Dave Grohl did the whole first album by himself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'll talk more about that in a bit. Second album, they had a drummer. And there was some, not controversy, but I guess I should say the generic term. There was creative differences.
Okay.
And so basically what happened, the gist of it, I don't want to get into like, not the rumors. Well, yeah, I guess some rumors and stuff that happened. But so basically what happened was the drummer they had, he recorded drum parts. And Dave Grohl didn't like them. And so he re-recorded them.
Oh.
So the drums on the first two Foo Fighters albums are actually Dave Grohl.
Okay.
So after The Color and the Shape was recorded, Dave Grohl was looking for a drummer, and he had met Taylor Hawkins previously, and he really liked his playing. So he called Taylor Hawkins not to ask him to be in the band, but to ask him if he had any recommendations because he was with Alanis Morissette at the time.
Oh, I see.
So when he called him, Hawkins said, "I'll play for you." And he was like, "But you're with, Alanis Morissette." And he's like, "I'd rather be in a band than be a musician in a solo act."
Sure.
And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense because I mean, those guys go in and out all the time."
Yeah.
So he would have preferred to be in a band, so he joined the Foo Fighters. So then that happened.
Did they tour that second album?
The Color and the Shape? I'm actually not sure. I'm going to say yes, because that album was done and they needed somebody. So I'm going to say that Taylor Hawkins toured with them for The Color and the Shape and then re-recorded with them on the third album.
Okay.
So Hawkins' first album appearance with the Foo Fighters was on their third album, There's Nothing Left to Lose, and that was released in November 1999. Hawkins has vocal, guitar, and piano credits on various Foo Fighters recordings and has been listed as a co-writer on every album since There Is Nothing Left to Lose. So since he got brought on with the Foo Fighters, he had co-writing credits. He actually did lead vocals on a song called Cold Day in the Sun off of In Your Honor. I actually put that song on the playlist. So if you guys don't know about our playlist, I have a Spotify playlist where I put music from bands and artists that we talk about on the shows, which I suggest you go listen to because I put a lot of work into that damn thing. And also too, I find a lot of cool stuff when I'm doing the research. I'm going to get into this part right now that I found songs that I had never heard before.
Okay.
And I was like, holy fuck, this is interesting. So that's talking about Taylor Hawkins, briefly, his history with the Foo Fighters, right? And I wanted to go through some of his music credits because I saw all the artists paying tribute to him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, obviously artists cross paths with each other, right? But I didn't realize how much he had done musically with people across from all genres and in the rock community and stuff. So here are some of his credits. So he had a side project called Taylor Hawkins and the Coattail Riders, where he was the drummer and the vocalist.
Okay.
So of course this fits in with our topic. That's why I wanted to talk about it. He did drums and vocals. He recorded 3 albums with that band. So that was his side project. He also had some of the guys from the Foo Fighters play on different songs here and there through those albums. Another thing he had a Police cover band called The Cops, which I thought was pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that is cute.
Another thing, I didn't know this, and I found this kind of interesting. So, Coheed and Cambria, he actually recorded the drum tracks for their fourth studio album, Good Apollo on Burning Star 4, Volume 2, No World for Tomorrow. Now, me and my brothers had that album, and I accidentally seen Coheed and Cambria 3 times. And if I'm correct, I saw them when they toured that album. So I believe I saw Taylor Hawkins playing with Coheed and Cambria on that tour, because he actually toured with them after recording that album.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I was like, that's fucking crazy. So I just don't remember, because I don't remember having that much interest in Coheed and Cambria, but I have that album and I was like, holy shit, I didn't know Taylor Hawkins was on there.
Okay.
I'm going to go on. Let me see. So he's a fan. He was a fan of, like, a big fan of Queen. Led Zeppelin, a lot of those classic rock bands. He actually provided some drum work on Brian May's solo album.
Okay.
Slash's solo album. On Slash's solo album, he actually did backing vocals on a song that Ozzy is singing on. So that's pretty crazy. So Slash is playing guitar, Ozzy's doing vocals because he's the featured vocalist, and Taylor Hawkins is doing backing vocals.
Okay.
I found that song and I heard it and I was like, it's a pretty cool song. The album came out in 2010. I knew about the album, but I didn't listen to it, because I don't really follow Slash that much. But, I heard it on Spotify and I was like, oh fuck, it's a good song. Put it on the playlist. He had another cover band called Chevy Metal. Oh, and he made that band during a break, that the Foo Fighters had in 2013. This was interesting. I don't know, maybe Britt, you knew this, but he played Iggy Pop in the 2013 film CBGB, and it was a biodrama about the venue.
Yes.
So I was like, and I saw a picture of him, and I was like, this seems vaguely familiar, but I don't ever remember seeing that. But yeah, he played Iggy Pop.
Yeah,
and I could see that.
The movie's worthwhile for sure.
Yeah.
And it is interesting to see who they pick for all of the different, like, big name people like Debbie Harry and all those people who got their start at CBGB.
Can you remember anyone who played anyone? Like, aside from, like, just right off?
So Rupert Grint from the Harry Potter movies, he played one of the guys from the Dead Boys.
Okay.
Old punk band that got started there.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember the name of the chick who played Debbie Harry, and yeah, I think that's all I got. But I'm trying to think of the actor's name who played Hilly, the guy who owned this. It's a British actor who died in a few years back. Alan Rickman.
Oh, okay.
He played.
Wait, he was in Harry Potter as well.
Yeah, he was. He was Professor Snape.
So then half the Harry Potter cast was okay.
A couple of them, yeah, for sure.
He also had another side going back to I'll come back to that. Fuck it. He had another side project called The Birds of Satan. And they had one album, 2014. He had a lot of fucking side projects.
Yeah, no kidding.
He also did some drum work for Elton John.
Wow.
And then this was the last one that I didn't know about, and I talked about. I think I mentioned it to Britt briefly in a text when we were in a group chat. So last year, he formed a supergroup with Dave Navarro and Chris Chaney of Jane's Addiction called NHC, which is their last names, Navarro, Hawkins, Chaney. And they released an EP earlier this year, and the album was supposed to come out later this year. But yeah, I didn't know he had a side project or a supergroup, I should say, with Dave Navarro.
Okay,
and Chris Chaney. I was like, holy shit. I heard some of that stuff. It sounds pretty cool. I put one of their songs on the playlist as well. That was the last thing I think that I had for him. He recorded 8 studio albums with the Foo Fighters. So he like crossed a ton of paths, like with playing with musicians. Like he just like was all over the place. Like everyone knew how much of a talent he was behind the drums.
Yeah.
So just like Dave Grohl too, like Dave Grohl, the same shit. Like both of them were kind of like parallel when it came to like the people that they crossed paths with because of how they drummed. Like everybody wanted to play with him.
Right.
And everybody wanted to play with him. And I just saw all the people that, were, posting stuff about him online. I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy. I just can't imagine that. But, there was pictures of him like with, the guys from Metallica and there was something that I saw on Twitter where like Lars had like a special seat or something where like he was like overlooking like, his drum set and he was like watching him play, and we all know how like Lars plays drums like this. They're two totally different drummers.
Sure. And
Lars was just explaining to him, like, one of the biggest bands in the world, saying that, how he admired how he played the drums.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's fucking crazy. Like you have all these legends, like, paying tribute to you and stuff, like people you grew up like looking up to and stuff. And that's fucking crazy. And it was just kind of crazy too that I didn't realize that they had just played a show like earlier that week and they were going to play a show that night.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
That's right.
So, but, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to mention some of the stuff that he had accomplished and that I found pretty interesting. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. It's a sad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to hear about Dave Grohl. Okay. He's the second singing drummer in the Foo Fighters. I know you heard a lot about Dave Grohl, but
I want to know, has he ever like done both at the same time? Because I think that's like the true test.
Actually, I think he has. I think he did it with. I want to say possibly when he was with them Crooked Vultures, possibly, maybe not. I'm probably wrong. Let's see what I wrote here. So, he began his professional career as a musician. This is how I see it. When he joined the DC hardcore punk band Scream when he was 17, he played drums for them from 86 to 1990. So, like, when Dave Grohl was growing up and he was a teenager, he got into like punk and hardcore punk because of his cousin. So he actually got involved with like the scene there in DC. And he was just like, he became a fan of this band Scream that was really popular there in that area. And he ended up lying about his age to get into the band when he had an opportunity to try out for them. So he actually toured with them, and touring with them actually opened up the doors for him to be the drummer for Nirvana after Scream split up. So he recorded 2 live albums and 2 studio albums with Scream as the drummer. After the band disbanded mid-tour, after the bassist left, Grohl joined Nirvana after auditioning since they needed a drummer while getting ready to record Nevermind. So Bleach had already came out. Bleach was kind of popular. Nevermind hadn't come out yet, but they were getting ready to record Nevermind. Nevermind was the album that like kind of blew it open for them.
Yeah.
So he joined. He played drums for Nirvana from 1990 to 1994, and he played on their last 2 studio albums, which was Nevermind and I believe In Utero, if I'm correct. Yeah, I think In Utero was their last album. So he recorded those 2 albums with them. So we all know why, Nirvana ended.
Right.
So after Nirvana ended, he was jumping around here and there playing drums. He really didn't want to play drums again. He didn't want to play music again. He was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. So one day Tom Petty called him and said, hey, yeah, I know, Miss Tom Petty, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
So he was gonna do a performance on SNL, and he called Dave Grohl and he said, hey, you want to play drums for me on the SNL performance? And Dave Grohl was like, what the fuck? Like, Tom Petty's fucking calling me to fucking, like, actually, Dave Grohl was in the studio recording what would be the first Foo Fighters album at the time, because he was doing it himself.
Uh-huh.
So he was like, he wasn't expecting it to be what it became. It was just something for him to record stuff so that he was just trying to let stuff out. Yeah. He was just trying to vent after what happened with Nirvana, right? So anyways, he's in the studio. Tom Petty calls him. He says, yeah, I'll do it, right? So he meets Tom Petty in the Heartbreakers, plays, the performance goes well, whatever. So after the performance, Tom Petty actually offers him a spot in the Heartbreakers.
Wow.
And asks him to be the drummer in the band.
Wow.
And after I think a couple of days, Dave Grohl said that he had to tell Tom Petty that that I need to think about it. And he decided ultimately to not, and that he didn't want to. He said that as welcoming as they were, he felt like they were already like a family,
like
and he didn't. Yeah, and he didn't want to just be in there, So he's like, I want to try to start my own thing then. So he formed the Foo Fighters after the project I was just telling you right now. He was trying to vent and get them. So while Nirvana was on tour, while Nirvana was touring, and during some of their studio sessions when they were like waiting on Kurt Cobain, him and I think Chris Novoselic, they would like just fuck around and write shit. So Dave Grohl got into this thing where like he was writing music on the side, and he's like, well, I can't show this to Kurt because like this isn't a Nirvana song, and he always held Kurt like to a higher standard. Like, this is nowhere close to what Kurt writes. So he never showed it to Kurt, right?
Okay.
So after this Nirvana stuff happened, he's like, well, I'm going to record all this stuff to get it out. So he didn't have a band, so he's like, I'm going to record it all myself. So the first Foo Fighters album, Dave Grohl recorded everything on his own in 1 week. He recorded guitar, drums, vocals, bass. and he was so. And this was pretty interesting because I had this conversation with your cousin.
Dave Grohl, her cousin. Dave
No, with Kim's cousin. So I had a conversation about about this first album.
Yeah.
Oh well, I had to.
My Dave Grohl cousin.
Yeah. Well, I had to. I guess reiterate it for listeners too. We'll get a beer after this. Trust me, guys. So what was crazy was that Dave Grohl was like not used to singing because he was, behind the drums all the time, and he would dabbled in guitar and stuff. So he was very self-conscious about his singing. So if you listen to, have you heard a lot of Foo Fighters stuff? Like, no, like but you're familiar with like the singles and stuff, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, so if you listen to like This Is a Call from the first album, what's the other one? Like Big Me. I forgot what the other single was called. So he was so self-conscious that he didn't want to just have his vocals out there like that. He recorded his vocals 4 times, layered on top of each other. So if you listen to that first album, the vocals sound different than the later albums. They sound like they have an effect on them, like kind of like a chorus effect. And that's because he recorded vocals multiple times. Yeah, because he didn't want people to hear the imperfection in his voice. Then once he actually put the band together after that, then he started to open up a little bit more. Here's another interesting thing that I found out. So I should have done the research on this, but I did hear a story about this where, what's his name from Pearl Jam?
Eddie Vedder.
Eddie Vedder. So apparently he had a pirate radio show called Monkey Wrench. And on that show, he had gotten a hold of one of the first prints of this album that Dave Grohl recorded by himself. Remember, at the time, Dave Grohl wasn't, he wasn't trying to make this a band. He was just trying to record it. He was giving this CD to friends and family and stuff, right?
Okay.
So Eddie Vedder got a hold of it, played it on his show, and he just said, "This is Dave Grohl's band." Right? He didn't call it Foo Fighters yet, I think, at the time. So playing on that show gave Dave Grohl exposure with that music, and labels started hitting him up saying like, "Hey, we're interested in, doing stuff with you." So that kind of being Eddie Vedder kind of gave him a boost, but of course him and Pearl Jam, all them being with Nirvana and stuff kind of made them kind of close. And I didn't know that's why there's a song called Monkey Wrench, and it was because of Eddie Vedder's Eddie Vedder show. Yeah.
Cool.
So. Pearl Jam high five, right?
Yeah.
We're still there.
Yeah. So going a little past that, so he recorded drums on I already said this, on the first 2 Foo Fighters albums, The Color and the Shape and the self-titled. I'm gonna go into some of his other playing credits and singing credits. So Dave Grohl played drums on all 4 Tenacious D albums. So we've talked about how he's friends with Jack Black, and I didn't know that he did drums on all 4 of their albums.
I didn't know that.
And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Tenacious D movie, Pick a Destiny, Dave Grohl actually plays the devil, and he actually plays the drums. Oh, he plays the drums and he sings on that one. Oh, and plays guitar. So, yeah. So fucking interesting. That was interesting, so I didn't know that about him. Let me see real quick. He's recorded 10 albums with the Foo Fighters as of last year. He recorded drums on the 3rd studio album for Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf. I have that album, and I didn't know he played drums on that album, which is fucking crazy because I know him and Josh Homme are friends. They ended up forming a band together, and I'll talk about that later. He also contributed some drums on their 6th studio album, like Clockwork. I didn't know that. He recorded 1 collaboration album for his heavy metal side project, Probot, where he played lead guitar, drums, bass, and did lead vocals.
Dang.
So he did everything. So this one was a metal side project that he did. I forgot what year he did this in. I remember the name Probot. I think it was like early 2000s. So he had vocalists like Lemmy from Motorhead and some other metal bands like join him. And it was like this big collaboration project where people were swapping out on singing and vocal duties.
Okay.
But when it came to recording, he did a lot of that stuff. I actually found the CD on Amazon, and it was like $40-$50, and I was looking at it and I told him, man, I want a copy of this, right? Because I remembered it, but I forgot about it. And when I did the research for this, I started listening to it on Spotify. I was like, I need a copy of this. So I found an import copy on Amazon for $20, and I bought it. An import fucking copy. So I'm waiting for that to come in. So I'm excited for that.
Cool.
Last 2 things I wanted to talk about here for Dave Grohl, and then I'll shut up. He recorded 1 album as the drummer for the supergroup Them Crooked Vultures, where it was him on drums, Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age on vocals and guitar, and Led Zeppelin bassist John Paul Jones. So that was the three of them. He did that one album with that super group. And then also, too, just real quick, he's done songs with Rush. He's played drums for Rush, Nine Inch Nails, Halsey, Ghost, Zac Brown Band, Garbage, David Bowie, and The Prodigy, and some other artists. So this guy, just like Taylor Hawkins, they've been all over the place, playing drums for people, playing guitar for people, doing vocal, like fucking multi-talented up the ass, like fucking crazy, like just fucking insane. But that was my Foo Fighters singing drummers report, guys, and I guess we can get a beer so that you guys can talk about what y'all want to talk about. I'll shut up for a while.
What do you want me to get?
You know what? I'll get something. Y'all talk for a while.
Would you mind?
Yeah, no.
I don't have much to say.
I know.
Cool. What the heck? Oh, wow.
Here, I'll go.
All right. Okay. All right.
I don't know. I just feel it's always awkward. We're just like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go on until Britt gets that beer, because these are like quick ones. So if we have to, we'll do a part 2 and talk about some of those other drummers, because singing drummers is not a new thing. Of course, it's been like back in the classic rock genre. The top shelf. There, there's beers up there, so you can pick one. There's two of the ones that you brought. Then there's that mead, and then there's the Martin House one too. So you can pick whatever you want. What'd you pick? What did you pick?
She said honey or pickles.
Oh, okay, cool. So while you pour that, I guess I'll get this out the way. So my second singing drummer, or band with a singing drummer, is Godsmack. So Godsmack lead vocalist Sully Erna. There's a lot of stuff I learned about this guy I didn't know, because I wasn't like a big super Godsmack fan, but I have seen them twice live, and I was like, they're just one of those bands where like, they're, I was like, I'll go check them out. So Sully Erna has been the vocalist for Godsmack since 1995 and has recorded 7 albums with them. The interesting thing is that he plays he'll have like a drum off with the drummer live, and oh, you're good.
He like ran from over there and he just like slid under your chair. But I don't know.
Puppy.
Yeah.
This is an interesting beverage.
Yeah, it smells like wine.
And it's very clear. Like it looks like wine. It doesn't look like beer at all.
Yeah, I should have looked it up. This is a mead. I don't know what the specifics on the meads are, but this is from Meridian Hive. It's from Austin. It's made with honey. So if I'm correct, it's like, because we saw another one at the store later that day. I think it's like a beverage. It's like fermented fruit with honey. Fermented honey. Okay, thank you. That's what it is. Thank you, Brett.
I have a fun fact about mead if you would like to hear it.
Yes. What's the fun?
Like in medieval times, after a couple was married, everybody in celebration would drink mead for a month, a moon cycle. And that's why they call the vacation after a marriage a honeymoon.
Oh, interesting. That's fucking crazy.
Because you drink honey for a moon cycle, honeymoon.
Why don't people still do that? That's weird.
I know, right? Like, why don't we have month-long parties for...
Well, I meant like, I guess that too, but like, I guess like to have a honey drink on a honeymoon?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like...
Mead.
Yeah, mead, yeah. So this is 5% ABV. I think this is just... Because I know they had other flavors, and I think we ended up just getting this one because they had they were all made with honey, but this is the honey one, and then they had some other ones. But let me write this down so that we can rate it. So I'm going to put mead on here. Mead. Okay, so I'll let y'all rate it first.
Oh, drinking?
Yeah.
It's different. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think we've had mead. I don't think we've had a mead on the show.
That's weird.
It is weird. I think it tastes better than it smells. It smells a little funk.
It tastes like a fake.
It tastes like if somebody put honey in like a
watered down
sparkling
Pilsner or
water.
something.
Yeah. Like a super fucking light beer, and somebody just put honey in there.
Yeah, I can taste fruit though. It tastes like pears.
It says it has. That's weird. It doesn't have a fruit on this one, but they did have some that were fruit. I don't know if I could drink this for a month. It's good. It's good. I mean, I like the flavor. And it doesn't have like that weird alcohol-y taste like I thought it was.
No, it's not super boozy tasting or anything. It tastes, I mean, it's crisp and sweet. It is sweet though, so you'd have to be okay with.
I'd give it a strong 3 point.
It's like somebody poured wine in a really light, shitty light beer.
But and honey, it's real sweet.
I could drink a whole thing, I think. I go like 3.8, like a very, I hate to say that, but like a strong 3.8.
I'd say 3.5. I don't dislike it.
Okay, yeah, I don't not like it, but I also don't love it.
There's like some weird taste in there that it's like 2.5, I guess.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. Okay, I guess we can try another one. Y'all are ready. So back to Sully Erna. Have you ever seen Godsmack live?
Yes.
Did you ever see him play a drum solo with the drummer? No. Okay, so he does this thing where, so he recorded the first. I didn't know this. He recorded the first 2 albums. Shit, I shouldn't word it like that. He recorded drums on the first 2 Godsmack albums, so they didn't have a drummer. And I didn't know this. They didn't get a drummer till the 3rd album. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I knew he played drums, but I didn't know that he recorded drums on those albums. So apparently he had started as a drummer when he was a kid. Like, he had been playing drums since he was like 7 years old. And he was in bands previous to Godsmack, where he was a drummer. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. So then, he decided to form Godsmack in 95, when he decided that he wanted to be a lead singer. He's like, I want to be a lead singer. So he formed Godsmack, and then it was just so weird how like they couldn't find a drummer, so he did drums. He ended up still playing drums for those first 2 albums. But whenever you see Godsmack live, and if they have like a specific setup, another drum riser will come out, and he'll do like a drum battle with their drummer. And I only saw this once because I saw them twice, but the first time I saw Godsmack, it was in the round. And for those of you who don't know what in the round is, it's when the stage is in the center and the people are around. And so they had a drum riser there, and they were opening for Metallica. So I don't know. I don't know what fucking year this. Oh, this was for the Saint Anger tour. So Godsmack opened up, and yeah, he had a drummer. They had a drummer battle, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, Godsmack, Sully Erna. That was my second singing drummer.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you said you had 2 on your list that you
I think you probably have one of them.
What you got?
Don Henley from the Eagles.
I had him as an honorable mention.
Why?
Because I didn't write it, because I was too busy with these guys.
I see. Well, for me, it's like, that's the true definition, because he's actually singing and drumming at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
And that's what I thought the assignment was. So I was
it was whoever, like, singing drummers that sang, period, because there are a couple, there are actually 3 on here that I have that do sing and play.
Okay.
But these guys were like doing both, but like on the albums, or they were switching off. But no, I definitely do. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Don Henley from the Eagles. I mean, I didn't know that. Like, for the longest time, I didn't know the fucking drummer was the one singing.
Well, they had multiple singers.
Yeah, they did have
he
multiple
wasn't
singers.
The only.
But it was like the early Eagles.
Glenn Frey was their. I probably sang the majority of their songs, but Don Henley was the second most used singer. But then they had others as well.
Yeah, because I saw the timeline for them and like how long he played. He did vocals and drums for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
I think it was at least 2 albums that he did singing and drums and singing
and touring with
and
it
touring.
too.
Yeah.
It was like performing that way.
Yeah, I saw some live stuff from them from when they were doing like the Hotel California stuff, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like that's fucking crazy." Like, I mean, the drum parts aren't like fucking crazy, but it's nothing that I could do. Like, I don't think I could do that.
No,
like, I can barely play guitar.
I don't know how you like conserve your energy to be able to sing and also like audibly.
That is true.
Like,
That is true. You guys have seen me. I play one song on the drums, and I'm fucking out of breath for the rest of the night.
Yeah, and I'm like, relax. Like, you look so like tense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also too, because like I'm not used to like my muscle memory or whatever is
so
not
you have
there.
to concentrate a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
and the other one was somebody singing and drumming at the same time, and that's Phil Collins, who I don't like, but I just wanted to mention.
That was one of my ones.
One of yours, yeah.
Phil Collins,
yeah. So
no, but those are like like you have to mention those guys.
Oh yeah,
because they were before all these. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Phil Collins, English drummer, singer, songwriter, record producer, and actor. He's been drumming since age 5, and he joined Genesis in 1970 as a drummer, and then became the lead singer in 1975, following the departure of Peter Gabriel. And then he also had his solo career, which began in 1981.
Did he play drums in his solo stuff?
I don't think so. but I don't know for certain because I don't really know. But I think his solo career was probably bigger than his time with. I mean, Genesis was big, of course, but he had his solo career was really, really big.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And don't forget that he's the world's largest collector
Of
Alamo
memorabilia. Yeah, which I learned on this show.
Yeah, which is just so interesting.
No, yeah, that's
and his daughter is an actress who's in that show, Emily in Paris.
Lily Collins, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Good stuff.
Phil Collins.
Musicians with daughter actresses.
Oh, geez.
Actually, Lenny Kravitz, his daughter played Catwoman in
that's right.
the new Batman movie.
There you go.
I forgot. I was just making a joke, and I just thought of one. That's funny.
I know. Wow.
What else you got?
Well, when you were talking about the drum battle, it triggered a memory. Johnny Hawkins of Nothing More, who began as the drummer for that band, and then he switched to the being the lead vocalist so that they could solidify a more steady lineup. In 2003, they formed the band in 2003, and then I don't know exactly when he switched over. But.
Yeah, so they formed in 2003, and then he became the lead vocalist in 2008. So he played drums all the way up through their third album. So what's weird is that he became the vocalist on that third album, which is The Few Not Fleeting. And it's funny because I think that's the album that we found at a CD exchange or something, and we bought it. But so that was the first album he became a vocalist, but they still didn't have a drummer. So just like the Foo Fighters case, he recorded drums on that one as well. So it's crazy because like primarily he was a drummer and he grew up playing drums, and then just like these other guys, he ends up switching for the band. I think this was more like the Sully Erna story, where he wanted to be a vocalist. Johnny Hawkins actually switched for the benefit of the band, so he actually went to vocals and they got a drummer. But still, now when they do live shows, he'll do percussion stuff.
Yeah, they all do.
Like they all do.
A little bit of it. Which is kind of cool. And actually, Ben Anderson, the drummer of Nothing More, is one of my top favorite drummers. So
cool.
But yeah, when you said that drum battle, I was like, oh, that just kind of reminded me. I've seen them live 3 times, I think, and that was part of their deal. Like he has like a little that scorpion thing that I think also is like a drum. I don't remember. It's been years
it's like
since I've seen them.
It's like a quad. Like a fucking roided out like quad setup, like the marching band quads, but like it has all this extra shit on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's
Oh, okay. What I did is search for singing drummers. The first 2 that pop up are Phil Collins and Don Henley.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Karen Carpenter from the Carpenters.
Oh shit. Okay.
And Levon Helm from the band.
The band. Yeah, we've talked about them. Yeah.
So that's interesting. Ringo Starr. I don't know. If he counts.
I feel like he sang after, right? No. Well, did all the Beatles sing on the Beatles stuff? Oh, I'm asking the wrong person because I don't know shit about Beatles.
I know we're like the non-Beatle knowing people over here.
And I'm saying that we're in a Rolling
Sheila
Stones
E.
shirt. Oh yeah, that's right. There's another one. Who was that other famous percussionist lady? I forgot her name, or maybe I am that
a percussionist lady.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Not Sheila E.
No, somebody else. Fuck it, whatever. I don't remember. And I think she drummed and sang. Fuck, I don't remember. But
the drum and you're like the drummer and singer girl.
Yeah. All right. I got one. That's
Do we
cool.
count the Meg White or
did she sing?
I don't know. Back up, probably.
I don't know. Shit, that's interesting. Maybe she did sing. Maybe she did sing. But yeah, that'd be actually a good one. I mean, I could check it out. Actually, I can actually look it up here real quick. So if let me see. Go here. Go here. So according to Wikipedia. Yeah, she did vocals. So yeah, singing drummer. Meg White, good one.
Okay.
Yeah, she did drums, percussion, and vocals. Yeah, now that I think about it, I didn't hear a lot of White Stripes stuff, but I'm starting to vaguely remember her voice on some of that stuff.
Neil Peart?
He sang?
I don't know, it says so.
Huh, I didn't know that.
And Stuart Copeland from the Police.
Okay.
This was like a really random one. When you started saying girl drummer singer is Gloria Estefan's daughter, Emily Estefan. She plays guitar, drums, sings. She has some.
At the same time, though, like one of those dudes at the corner of the parks.
Kind of, actually. I think I saw like a video of her once, and she was playing the guitar, and she had like some drum set up next to her. She just
Dang,
a little
okay.
bit.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I got 3 more on my list I can knock out, and then we can try another beer or another couple of beers
Or another mead.
Or no,
Thank you.
is that other one a mead?
No, it's a honey and
too much. I don't know. It's a weird aftertaste.
This is.
So these next ones, I guess these 2 that I'll talk about, they actually play drums and sing. And I was tripping out when I was doing this research because I pulled up YouTube videos of these guys. And it's just so fucking crazy because of the style of music they play. It's so fucking heavy. And then they're singing, like for a majority of the song. I'm like, how the fuck are you breathing? Like it makes no sense. So the first one is, the band is Seven Dust and their drummer is Morgan Rose. I've seen them twice. But I'll show you one of the videos after we end the show, but it's just fucking crazy. So, he is the drummer and backup vocalist for Seven Dust, and he's been, in Seven Dust since 1994. The interesting thing that I didn't know was that he was the lead vocalist at the start of the band in 94. So, he didn't last as a lead vocalist that long. It was just like very brief. There we go. Okay, I guess that's recording. Let me see, where was I? Alright, guys, sorry, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. You ever seen The Simpsons where they have like their newscast has technical difficulties and then they show like the screen of the puppy that pulled the plug?
Oh.
That's what happened here.
Literally what happened.
Okay, so I was talking about Morgan Rose from Seven Dust. I was just saying that he's been in the band since 94. He sang briefly in the band before they got LeJean and LeJean Witherspoon, which is their vocalist now. He's recorded 13 albums with Seven Dust, and the interesting thing is that he does so much backing vocals. Britt was talking about this earlier about drummers who actually sing at the same time. He wears a headset while he's playing because his drums are so fucking like wild, and he has so many singing parts that he wears a headset. He doesn't have a mic stand next to him. He wears like a pop star headset.
Okay.
So yeah, he's Britney of metal. The next one I have is Atreyu, and that's Brandon Soller. Same thing with this guy. So they're very heavy drummers, and they also do they contribute a lot of vocals to the band, while they're drumming. So he does lead clean vocals. That's what they call it. They have, in this band, they have 2 vocals. The lead singer, or the front man, does unclean vocals, and he, as the drummer, does clean vocals, which is kind of half and half in that band. He's been the vocalist and the drummer since 1998. He has recorded 8 albums with Atreyu. In 2021, actually, the album they released last year, their 8th album, he actually moved to vocals, so he's not the drummer anymore. But he's still a drummer. So now, he does vocals, up front, but he also contributes guitar, piano, and keyboards, to the band. But also too, on a side note, I think, I want to say Kim met them.
Yeah, I met them.
So he has a solo band, he has a band that was created from solo material that he had where he's the lead vocalist as well. It's called, Hell or High Water. But he doesn't, I don't know if he ever contributed drums to that band, but that's an example of a drummer going to vocals. And then the last one I have is, this one's kind of weird one, but it's Adam Dutkiewicz from Killswitch Engage. So everyone knows him as the guitarist for Killswitch Engage, but he also does a lot of like backup vocals. Well, when the band first started in '99, they didn't have a drummer. So or I think that they didn't have a drummer. So No. They only had one guitarist. That's what the thing was. And he was the drummer. So he played drums and did backing vocals, and then he ended up switching. So that was kind of another situation. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to say that real quick because I got fucked up. Drums and backing vocals for Killswitch Engage. Yeah, I'm
cool.
done. Sorry if I fucked that up, guys. But Killswitch Engage is one of my favorite bands, and yeah, I did fuck that up. But I guess we can have another beer, and then we'll...
That'll make it better.
Yeah, then we'll call it. I don't know what we're going to have, but we do have a Martin House in there, and we usually have a Martin House.
True.
every
This
episode.
one scares me, though.
So this one, I believe Kim and I had this one when we went to the tap room when we visited the Martin House Brewery last year. Unfortunately, Britt didn't get a chance to go with us.
No.
But this is their one of their best made pickle beers, but it's their tropical punch pickle beer. I don't remember how this tastes.
I don't either.
But we saw the can and we're like, fuck it, we got to get it for the show.
I
So
don't remember having this, but I guess.
yeah, I can check out the Instagram.
I'm scared.
'Cause I'm
We
pretty.
definitely didn't have it at Martin House. Because we had the raspberry pickle beer there. Which is like the
Oh shit. Okay.
The smell makes me cry.
Oh, that's good.
Kim
Wait,
loves her
so
pickle
you just
beers.
smelled it?
All I did was smell it, and I cried.
We're gonna tell you this right now that the pickled beers in the cans make the pickle kind of
Stronger.
smell. Yeah, kind of smell more prominent and weird. But oh, that's
Okay,
good.
it's a lot better than it smells.
Oh, I give it like a. Actually, I give it a 5. I think.
Oh, dang. Really?
Yeah, I like it. Like I like tropical punch, and I like the pickle beer. But I think draft.
It would be a lot
And
better.
I gotta
Yeah,
check
if it could, like,
Instagram.
air out
I
better.
thought we had. Well, you know what? I'm
or
gonna
it might
go.
have been at Growler, but it definitely wasn't at Martin House.
I'll go with 4.8. Fuck it. I don't think it's a 5. I'll go with 4.8.
4.5.
4.5.
Which
Brett?
was a little tiny bit sweeter.
Brett?
2.5?
2.5. All right. Well, I guess that's all the stuff we had. We'll probably, I don't know, we'll possibly try another beer off the show, and then I'll put the rating on Instagram when I post this. But yeah, I mean, we probably left out some more drummers. But if we come up with something and we're like, oh, Hangover, then we'll just do another episode somewhere down the line of Bands with Singing Drummers Part 2 or something like that. Next episode, I don't know if we're good next week or not, but this was the originally planned one from last week, and that was bands' uses of literature.
Yeah.
So bands who use either literature to do their band name or for their lyrics or for their song titles or albums. We'll talk about that. I already have my research ready to go for that.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about possibly the next one. So I think I kind of want to do that, like stay ahead of the week. So like we'll come up with another topic and then I'll just get a head start since I already have shit written down for next episode. But yeah. Sorry I fucked that up, but
What did you fuck up?
I was kind of choppy on some of this.
I know,
I don't know. I was just kind of. I felt like I was kind of choppy on some of this information, even though I had it all like written down to fucking. I thought I had it structured properly. But anyways, all right, guys. Well, we'll see y'all next time. If you want to check out the Spotify playlists, which I suggest you do, there's a lot of interesting shit on there. Go check it out. The links are on rocktalkhappyhourpod.com. And then I think we also got some cool stuff coming up on some of the future episodes I'm working on, but we'll see what happens. So, talk to you later, guys.
All right, cheers.
All right,
Good night.
cheers.